My name is Doris Berria, and I'm a software engineer in the UI team at the Qt company. Today, I will be talking to you about the new iOS style for Qt Quick Controls 2 and show you how easy it is to build native-looking UIs for iOS using the style. I'll start with giving a brief introduction into the style, followed by how to use it. Then I'll be jumping into how the controls look and feel like, but I won't be talking much about that. I will show you instead. To do that, I will build a simple app for iOS with an iOS user interface and design using our controls and the style. I'll also talk about theming support and platform availability. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box and I'll answer them during the presentation. As some of you may know already, Qt Quick Controls 2 come with a set of styles, most of which offer a native look and feel for a target platform. For example, the native macOS or Windows style, or the Material style for Android. This was not the case on iOS. Qt Quick Control 2 applications did not look native there. We were using the Fusion style by default, as pictured, and users wanting a more native look had to manually customize the controls or create their own style. This was the main motivation behind introducing this new style. It is native looking and is designed to look and feel as similar as possible to the UI kit controls. It's a pixmap-based style, meaning that the controls use 9-patch images to draw their components, and we then use QML to add animations on top. We chose this approach so that we have a style that is easier to maintain. It's not subject to visual regressions resulting from periodic updates and changes in iOS, and it allows us for collaboration with visual designers, making for high-quality designs and results. The style can be used just like any other style in Qt Quick Controls 2. It can be selected at compile time by importing the Qt Quick Controls iOS module, or it can be selected at runtime by importing the Qt Quick Controls module and setting the iOS style through the Qt Quick Style API, the style command line argument, the Qt Quick Controls style environment variable, or setting it in the Qt Quick Controls 2 configuration file of your app. As mentioned, most of the controls have a similar look and feel to the UI controls. For the controls that do not have a native counterpart, we chose to provide a custom look inspired and based on other native components in iOS, while also following the iOS human interface guidelines. Pictured are some of our controls running with the iOS style. But let's look at all this a bit more in practice. How does an app for iOS look and feel like using our controls and the iOS style? I'm creating a simple to-do list application. I will first start with selecting the iOS style. As mentioned, I can select this at runtime by importing the Qt Quick Controls module and setting the style through one of the shown ways, or I can select it at compile time by importing the Qt Quick Controls iOS module. For this project, I will choose to do this. Let's go ahead and add some controls. I already have a root application window, which will be rendered into a native window, and a stack view control, which will help me with the navigation between pages. I have already added the home page as the initial page in the stack. Here's my home page. It has clickable content and the title, which I'm showing through this label here. In this page, I want to show a list of all the items in my to-do list. In iOS, a very common user interface component for showing lists are table views. So I want something similar here. In Qt Quick, I can do that using a list view, which displays data from this model I've created here, and by setting the list view's delegate to a component of my choice. In this case, for the look I want, I will be choosing an item delegate. Table views in iOS also use a disclosure indicator to let users know they will be navigating to a new page. Since I want to be navigating to the project page when clicking on this list item, I will add a similar indicator. I've added this icon already in my resource file, so I just need to provide the source. And here is my list. I went ahead and added some logic for navigating to the new page by pushing it in the stack view and passing along some parameters for the project. This is how it looks like. When clicking on the project, I will navigate to the project page. Now in this page, I will add some more of our controls just to show you how they look like. Here is our updated project page. I'm using layouts to position things nicely, and from the top, I've added a progress bar, a text area, and a check delegate to show the list of tasks and mark them as finished or not. As you can see, all of these controls look and behave pretty similarly to the respective UI kit controls. Let's now move on to another important part of iOS UIs, but not only, which is navigation. How to implement an iOS-like navigation using our controls and style. In iOS, there's usually a navigation bar shown at the top of the screen, consisting of a back button at the top left showing the title of the previous page, a title in the middle showing the current page's title, and optionally an action button at the top right. There are also some transitions going on when navigating between the pages. To implement this for my app, I will be using a combination of the stack view, which I have already been using, and a toolbar for the navigation bar. For the bar buttons, I will be using a tool button control. I will go ahead now and add some positioning and display information to the components here. Okay, now all I need to do is provide some navigation logic using the stack view component here. First, I want this back button to be visible only if there are more than 2 pages in the stack. And as mentioned, I want to show for the text the title of the previous item, which I've already defined here. And lastly, pop the current page from the stack whenever this button is clicked. And for the label, I'll show the title of the current item. That's all I need to specify for the navigation bar here. I don't need to provide any transitions because Stack View already defines them for me, and the iOS style implementation of the Stack View provides some native looking transitions already. Now I just need to add this toolbar as the header to the rest of my pages, which I've already done. So let's go ahead and see how it looks. There is my navigation bar with the title and the action button. And when I navigate to another page, the back button will show up. And there are also the transitions I mentioned. There is one more detail that I'm missing for this to really feel native, and that is I need to hide the background of the toolbar whenever the view is positioned at the top, like this position here. Whenever I start scrolling, I want this toolbar to be visible again because this is the behavior in a native iOS app. To implement that, I'll be using the flickable of the page. We'll use it to bind the visibility of the background, of the toolbar's background. The title will also hide whenever the background hides. Here I need to pass this clickable. The same for the task page. And there is my desired behavior. This is starting to look good. I'm not yet done with the navigation. I want to add another page to this app, a settings page, and to navigate to it, I will be using a tab bar. I'll add the tab bar as a footer to the application window so it can be shared by all the other pages in the app. Now I'll be adding two tabs to it, one for the to-do list page and one for the settings. I'll be using a tab button for the tabs. As you can see, I'm again using the stack view to navigate between the tabs in this case, and also added some icons. Let's see how it looks. Here I have my tab bar with the tab buttons, and as you can see, the icon is placed on top by default. This is defined in the tab button of the iOS style, and the font is also smaller by default. Here I am in the settings page now, and I will be adding here the rest of the controls just to show you how they look like with the iOS style. This is the updated settings page where inside item delegates I've added some more controls. This is how the slider, the switch, the spin box, and the radio delegate look like with the iOS style. I also added a pop-up with a text field and a button so I can add new tasks. Also made some small adjustments. So when inside the text area here, the action button becomes this done button here, so that when clicked, the focus moves out of the text area. And this is our iOS app. Let's now talk about theming. The iOS style supports both light and dark mode. It will follow the system or app's appearance configuration settings. You can use the iOS theme read-only property to check the current appearance. This is exactly what I'm doing here to determine the right source for my indicator image. You already saw how the app looks like in the light mode, so let's now change the appearance to dark and see how the app looks like in dark mode. This is how it looks, and as you can see, the colors are adapted to dark mode and there is a higher contrast. We are using system APIs to initialize these colors so they are following the iOS interface guidelines. The style is available on iOS, but also on macOS. So if you are using QDesign Studio on your Mac, you can directly use the style to design your iOS app there without having to deploy to iOS to check the results. The style should look the same on both platforms, besides minor differences that may occur due to available system fonts or font rendering engines. And that was it on the iOS style and how to develop iOS apps and UIs using it. Thank you for your attention and hope you enjoyed the talk.